Hi, welcome back to Financial Journey. So today I am going to be talking about Lucid. I am going to be doing this as a live stream and then rolling it out into a video, but you can definitely stay tuned for the Q&A, which will be at the end. There's a lot I do want to cover in this video. Ultimately, I want to do my price prediction, but without that, I have to explain pretty much my reasoning. So I'm going to be talking about a lot of different things as far as their delivery event that's currently undergoing right now, institutions buying, possible dilution. There's a lot of different things I do want to talk about, but getting right into it, you can see on Twitter their delivery event is currently underway. So that is definitely a good thing. Obviously, we were expecting more deliveries coming. There was a lot of posts coming out on Twitter. So again, this is definitely good. More known information. It just obviously shows more of a kind of an underlying thing that Lucid's actually doing the right thing and following through. But overall, it's not really anything to buy Lucid based on. But this is one thing I do want to address when I talk about their earnings. But with that said, there's a lot of different things I want to talk on. So this news came out as well, that it's basically bringing up Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia obviously was the second biggest as far as kind of pre-ordering, and that was said by Peter. Definitely good info going on there. And one thing I do obviously want to bring up is especially the earnings, right? Obviously I'm jumping all over the place. Everything eventually does piece together. I promise that, hopefully. But their earnings is obviously on November 15th. So this coming Monday after business day, after market close. So you can see that right here, November 15th. Couple of things I do want to show you. So obviously for earnings, there is revenue, earnings per share, and future guidance, all of which, in my opinion, majority of those, obviously revenue and earnings per share won't really amount to much. And you can even see the quarterly as far as the expectations is that they're going to lose about 22 cents. And I think the latest thing that did come out was saying that Lucid was going to be estimated to lose about 25 cents. So I do feel that it'll be most likely in line with the estimates as far as earnings per share loss. But as far as a revenue loss, it's the same kind of thing. I do believe that it'll probably be around the negative about 25 to 30 cent mark. But regardless, those are expected to be negative aspects. It is the guidance. The guidance is what everything is being driven on. That is what is going to be making either Lucid continue upward or just break support and it'll trend back down to mid 30s. So it is a very pivotal thing. Obviously, a lot of which what ifs are going to be said throughout this video, and again, all kind of compiled together for a price prediction that I'll say at the end. So first and foremost, it is expected for their earnings to bring up as far as dilution. So if you did watch my previous video on how Lucid will be a $200 stock next year easily, my reasoning ultimately was the fact that if they did do dilution, which Peter has hinted to several different times, and not only Peter, but analysts. Obviously, Lucid has a lot of big goals upcoming, and of which they definitely need financing. So every company needs financing whatsoever. So when it comes to this, as far as even building that manufacturing plant in Saudi Arabia, that is expected to be $3 billion. Lucid does not have that amount of cash. So it is expected that, in my opinion, hopefully they do address that during their guidance, that they are going to be doing dilution in the future, because there was an article that did come out in my video that I covered with a 10% dilution of its outstanding shares right now. It can fund at least up to about, I think it was 750,000 as far as capacity for vehicles, and obviously majority of which would be in Saudi Arabia, in my opinion. So that is definitely good. And in my video as well, I did say that they have a current capacity between 80 to 100,000. This article that I was reading yesterday did kind of clarify that, 90,000. So they have 90,000 capacity as far as a total vehicles right now. Imagine what Lucid can easily be if they had 750,000 of a capacity. So that's insane. And just with a 10% dilution. So in my opinion, it does, and hopefully they do bring that up. That will be good for a lot of long-term investors. Unfortunately, how I base my price prediction around dilution is a very negative word, unfortunately, for a lot of long-term investors and hedge funds and things like that. They don't like dilution, and typical person cringes at that and usually thinks of like over-the-counter stocks or whatever it is. But when it comes to if they mention dilution, I do feel that that will cause Lucid to kind of retrace back. In reality, that is just a massive buying opportunity because they have, obviously they're not diluting because they're running at a deficit. They have profit margins. They've hinted to as far as exactly how much their profit margins are. There's just, unfortunately, a negative sentiment, like I already said, about dilution, and it'll probably cause a little bit of a dip, but in reality, it'll be good for the long term. So guidance. Obviously, guidance touching on dilution. Dilution would be hypothetically a fairly big negative when it comes to that. When it comes to their remaining deliveries, right? So as of right now, they haven't really said exactly or hinted to how many deliveries are in this delivery event, but as of right now, I believe it's around 65, showing there's 455 yet to be delivered. When it does come to those 455 minus whatever is in this kind of a situation here, it is highly anticipated that they'll provide guidance on when that'll be, because there's only about a month and a half left in 2021. They did say that those remaining would be delivered in 2021. So that is definitely a very good thing when it comes to that. But when it comes to the guidance, if they deviate from that, if they say that they won't be able to meet it in 2021, that'll be negative, a very negative sentiment, and obviously cause the price to go down, in my opinion. Because as of right now, built into the price as of right now, and the price right now, just for you guys to be aware of, in case you didn't know, $43.93. So it was down 2.3% as of on Friday. When it comes to that, it's built into the price that they are expected to be delivering at least 520 vehicles in 2021. If they can meet that, then most likely there'll probably be a little extra premium added to the price because of future expectation. Obviously, as of right now, I think it said here as well, they have expectations of 20,000 vehicles. I'll have to find that, but 20,000 vehicles in 2022. And again, that is, in my opinion, more conservative. So I have done quite a lot of videos. I'm sure you guys are subscribed to me. If not, definitely subscribe, smash the thumbs up. It definitely helps my channel, pushes it out. But I have done a lot of videos as far as future forecasts, and I do feel that they are going to be increasing their capacity and their forecast for 2022 and onwards. Again, just a hint, and I don't believe anyone's been saying that. So if it does come true, I'm gonna have a couple drinks on that, but definitely that is, in my opinion, will be a smoking gun, and that would be a huge factor. Because keep in mind, when it comes to earnings, there's very little things that cause an upward swing, right? Surprises, good surprises, I should say, causes typically upward swings, such as increasing forecast. That is definitely would be one that would cause a nice upward swing. On the contrary, though, there is quite a lot of different negatives. So this is why a lot of individuals are starting to say Lucid is capped out as far as price, meaning kind of it'll only go down, because there's so many things that could possibly cause Lucid to go down in the short term versus long term, right? They'd have to increase expectations or do something to cause more of a hype or anything like that. Whereas on the contrary, their earnings, this is why so many people are talking about the earnings. It is a very pivotal point in Lucid's kind of transactions. Like I said at the beginning, it's either going to be trending up to 70, where I do feel that it can go by the end of the year, or whether it goes down to 35 in the short term. It'll all be played out Monday evening. So definitely that is going to be a lot of factors being played. On the technical stance, despite us running up as much as we have, there is a lot of good things when it comes to the technicals. And I like the fact that right now we are having, it's a very, I always see it as like a David versus Goliath, or like a battle when it comes to kind of the bids and the ask. You can see the resistance as of right now. There's kind of a tight-knit area between the 45 and 47 range. On the contrary, though, support levels is 42 to 40. So both are fairly nice, tight-knit, and both are fairly close to where the last price was. In reality, this is why I feel, in my opinion, a lot of individuals are kind of waiting on their upcoming earnings. This is why, in reality, I do have I'll kind of just get right to it. As far as a price prediction, though, by the end of the week, I do feel that it can easily get to around 48. And obviously, I'm going to explain that, and obviously some red days in there. But in reality, how I see with the earnings, how Tuesday is going to open from the earnings, I do see us being ranged from about 40 to probably about 52. I do feel in their upcoming obviously earnings, they are going to be saying some good things that a lot of investors will like and a lot of negatives. A lot of which will be good opportunities for institutions and hedge funds to get in. And I've been bringing this up quite a lot and obviously I do feel it's very relevant for a lot of investors to know what hedge funds and institutions are actually doing. And you can see obviously this wall of green, a lot of new actual hedge funds and institutions getting in, and more notably as well, they're getting in with big numbers, so 1 million. And keep in mind, obviously this wasn't done on the actual November 12th. It was done within the 3 months prior. But JP Morgan, so they did close out 100% of their puts. But if you actually look, I did see them somewhere. JP Morgan, they kept their calls. If not, they actually increased it by 28%. So a lot of big actual institutions and hedge funds are physically backing Lucid. But when it comes to that component, I do feel this will be a long-term catalyst for a lot of individuals, because especially in the comments below on a lot of my videos, I have seen a lot of individuals that ultimately don't really know what they're doing, and you can get the sense of that, and they usually bring up a lot of institutions and hedge funds, same as on my Discord. My Discord is a good place to be. Definitely join that. It's good on the link in the description below. But when it comes to that as well, a lot of people actually do follow institutions and hedge funds. And obviously, when it comes to that as well, analysts. Analysts is another big component that I did anticipate more actual either upgrades or price predictions from analysts going into their earnings. But obviously there is 9 times out of 10, the majority of them are after. So especially that, in my opinion, will be another catalyst for the remaining of the week. I do feel that analysts are just waiting for the earnings to either say, see, I told you so, it's not worth $44, it's worth X amount. Or I don't know. Analysts are not always favorable to, in my opinion. I don't really always trust them. The bad thing is a lot of individuals do highly rely on everything they say as pretty much the Bible or whatever it is. I don't agree with that. But a couple of things also I do want to bring up. So short interest right now. Short interest did have a nice little spike going on here, showing there is a little bit of a level of fear, especially going into the earnings. As of right now, 8.3 is the short interest on Lucid. 55.6 is utilization. Day by day change, it did decrease by 3.55%. 1.46 million shares were returned. So obviously, you can kind of get the hint, I have been bringing up a lot of different things, and Lucid is a beast of its own. There's a lot of different components. If anything, you can see based on the chart and everything, they have gone pretty much parabolic. They've done deliveries. They've announced they have killer technology, beautiful car. And I feel like they're just doing so much in a short time period that when it comes to the earnings, there's so many different catalysts. And I'm sure for those that you do watch my channel, almost every video, I bring up a new catalyst. Hey, look, this just came out. This is a huge, good intuition and will definitely look favorable for Lucid stock in the future. And it's almost every single video that I bring up a new catalyst. So when it comes to Lucid, there's so many different things playing on it, and especially when it comes to their upcoming earnings as well. Earnings obviously is the one point in time when ultimately it goes to the actual realistic share price. That's why I do anticipate on Tuesday it having massive swings on as far as the share price, because there's going to be good and bad probably being said. Some of the bad I do see is as far as their deliveries, outstanding deliveries. I do feel that, especially this late in the game, I think they should have actually done a little bit more. Based on this video, obviously it's a 12-second video, not really going to be amounting to much. You can see, I think 5 or 6. And I have seen some other Twitter things on there saying maybe there's 12. But still, regardless, whatever it is, even if there is 12 deliveries, they are still expected to do 455. So that, in my opinion, could be a fairly big negative. Dilution, I personally wouldn't mind it. I would actually don't care if they dilute 10% in the exchange for it going up. It would just be a great buying opportunity in reality if it does dip. So there is, like I said, a lot of different things. I am actually very excited for Saudi Arabia, and actually, to be honest, don't know why a lot more individuals aren't really looking as like Saudi Arabia as the biggest catalyst out of them all. Obviously, Saudi Arabia has so much money. It's insane. And being the second biggest market, and they want an actual manufacturing facility there. I did do a video as well, kind of addressing that. And they are, I believe it's by 2030, they want like all 100% of their sales of vehicles to be done locally. And right now, Lucid is going to be having the first buyers or first step kind of advantage. So if Lucid actually does stick to its plan by doing a facility, again, they're estimating $3 billion for the actual facility cost, but there is a lot of good upside potential when it comes to that. And obviously adding $3 billion to, you'd have to dilute 100%. But being there by 2024, Lucid would be 100% one of the first actual like manufacturers and companies there, and definitely would look very, very, very favorable. So a lot of different things, and this is now going to be the smoking gun. I don't really like to bring this up. Other individuals seems to on YouTube bring up more speculative kind of stuff. This is speculative as far as partnerships. So right now, I do feel that they will bring this up as well. I don't know how people will take this, but I do think that they have a $25,000 vehicle lined up or anticipating or to work on, something like that. Because the news on Tesla, if you have been looking at that, they have been focusing on a $25,000 vehicle for quite some time. And in reality, they are fairly close to getting to that. Lucid definitely does have to step up its game to meet that. I don't have doubt by Lucid whatsoever. As far as an investor, they have not let us down one bit. So when it comes to comments in for my videos or anything like that, saying like Lucid is a fraud, Lucid is this, I think everyone knows about this Mark guy, and whether you're watching right now or not. Definitely probably the biggest, hands down, the biggest basher for Lucid. But nothing wrong with that. Definitely a different way of seeing it. But when it comes to this component and speculation, what I mean by that is that Lucid does say that they can do a $25,000 vehicle in 4 years, but that is with a partnership, and then it'll be about 9 years without obviously a partnership. So 4 years with a partnership is obviously ideal, and partnerships obviously expand not just the $25,000 vehicle, but other components, right? It starts to share technology and things like that. So that, in my opinion, is a huge catalyst. And when it comes to that, a lot of individuals seem to still talk about Apple. Despite Apple tentatively starting kind of a working relationship, or at least underlying one with Hyundai and Kia, I believe it was. So definitely a lot playing on that. And this, hopefully they do bring up, and Peter hopefully does bring up this speculation kind of thing. Again, it's one of those things that I don't know if a lot of individuals will physically like hearing that. And typically during earnings, they like to stick to the facts and what they actually are working on. So I don't really think that it would be nice if he talked on that. But as far as if he actually does, I don't really know. But yeah, to be honest, a lot of good things going on with Lucid. So let me know if you guys are still interested in Lucid. If you guys think there's going to be a pullback, there is so much going on here. To be honest, yeah, I'm looking through some of the comments now. I do 100% agree. Apple and Lucid would be huge. And I do feel that strongly that Apple and Lucid would be good together because, well, good and bad. Good because they both have high expectations for their product, hands down. Apple does, and especially looking at their kind of project for their vehicle, which has had its fair share of hiccups. When it comes to that, they've had, to be honest, I feel that Apple could have actually had a vehicle already out. Just they've had a lot of hiccups and issues that they had to address, and it shows a underlying thing, same as Lucid. They have very high expectations for their vehicles, and rightfully so, right? They want to stand behind their product. They don't want to just do nothing wrong with Tesla. I'm just bringing Tesla up, but Tesla obviously just shipped, like, I believe it was their second round of production, and they had to recall them. I could be wrong. Let me know in the comments. But I believe it was early on in their time period. Not only did they push back deliveries, and I like this article as well. Oh, I got rid of the article, but I'll pull that up. It did say, like, obviously Tesla was working on, I believe it was second or third. That's when they had to recall. And not only that, even Lucid had to push back several times. And I like this article is fairly good. I brought up most of the points here, but it does even say deliveries typically mark a very strong milestone for EVs, and for a startup, many EVs do fail to live up to their initial hype. And obviously, more notably, as much as I like Tesla definitely had the first step advantage on many different components, and that's why they have a majority market share. But Lucid will definitely take that, and I do strongly feel that. And Lucid has done and lived up to its hype, 100%. So I do feel Lucid and Apple would be a very good component together. And I have done also a video, I can quickly pull that up. Lucid did have, as far as, I believe Apple had, oh, I typed it wrong. Okay, so as far as Apple, they have, as of right now, $62.64 billion in total cash equivalents and short-term investments. And right now, Lucid has as far as a market cap of $71 billion. So they don't be able to do that. But hypothetically, Apple does have, and they have been saying for quite some time, that's the next project that they want to devote a lot of their resources to, is it's a EV. And when it comes to this as well, it's could be done despite Lucid's run up and everything like that. Lucid is still in comparison so cheap, even if you think probably 6 months from now. And even in the comments below, even right now compared to what it was, people are saying, oh, I wish I had bought more. Well, this moment, I know it looks relatively high. These are the moments a year from now you're going to be wishing, you know what, I wish I bought it at 44. It's maybe 180, 150, whatever it is. People are going to be saying that. But Apple could technically buy out, whether it be a hostile takeover or actually a mutual agreement. 64, they could do a dilution and half cash as well. So that is possible. And again, I guess I've talked on a little bit more of this speculation more than what I would like to say, because in my channel, I just stick to the facts for the most part. But when it comes to Apple, especially back here when it had this nice little blip here, Apple was starting to come into the picture. Well, at least the rumors, I should say. I'll take a look at some of the comments. But ultimately, let me know what you guys think, where you see earnings going, whether you personally feel that it's going to be success, guidance. Let me know. Yeah, Apple and Lucid, that would be amazing. Well, do you think Tesla? So there's a comment. Do you think Tesla will go through a correction of the market stock price? Kind of. Keep in mind though, there's no difference with Lucid, right? If you factor in Lucid right now, technically only delivering 65 vehicles, or even better yet, the new IPO Rivian, they've delivered no vehicles, and they have a massive market cap. So when it comes to Tesla, as far as a correction, in reality, they have a lot of future expectation, and future is obviously related into the price, right? Just a higher, many different components within the price, and Tesla does have a lot of things going in its future. So again, nothing wrong with Tesla whatsoever. Just they are doing things right, but majority of which is because they had that first kind of entrance into the market, and they kind of by nature took the market share. And so right now it's Lucid's job, along with many others, to take market share back. So yeah, I do agree. For Apple to be actually doing an agreement with Lucid, that would be pretty top notch. Like, I don't think they would easily go announce that as much as they did with Hyundai, and I think they only did that because I don't know, a lot of different things. And Hyundai outright saying that they weren't doing it kind of just slapped Apple in the face. So I don't think that will ever work out, because I feel like obviously Apple is a big alpha company. They don't like to be told what to do. They like to contribute and work together, but they don't like to be told what to do. So comment as well, where do you see the price at the end of the year? To be honest, I see it around 70. I do feel that is pretty fair. That gives a, looking at the chart as well, $70 would give it, obviously with a month and a half, it would be similar to kind of this situation. So most likely it wouldn't just go up like this. And I don't like these kind of moments as much as they are very sexy and everything like that. It's not realistic. And typically this is more damaging. Whereas I like this. I like when there's obviously pullbacks and then it just retraces higher. And right now we are, like I said, at a very pivotal point because of their earnings and guidance, and especially Lucid being like 2 years down the line. Yeah, people will be looking at their earnings and kind of playing some importance on it. Nowhere near as much as right now. Right now is a very, very interesting time for Lucid, especially with everything that's happened. Obviously, their deliveries, them being so early on in their production period, and just as a startup, it's like the first earnings, their guidance, this is kind of what makes it. Well, I wouldn't say breaks it whatsoever, but it definitely is, like I said, a very pivotal thing. 100%. Okay, so going through some of the comments. So it looks like some individuals are saying definitely won't buy Lucid, but partnership is possible. I do feel that Lucid is 100%. Well, again, it goes back to a lot of my other videos as well. If you do feel that Lucid will be $100 or $200 next year, then easily this is a massive buying opportunity, right? Yeah, it looks like a lot of individuals. Yeah, basically, you can kind of get the general consensus of the comments is EVs. EVs, like whether you're talking about Rivian, like everything is hot right now. And that, in my opinion, is why I do feel that, given the right circumstances, I do feel that their earnings are going to be fairly neutral. There's going to be some good things, some things that probably people are going to twist to a negative. That always happens. So that's why, again, go back to my price target of $48. So yeah, no, definitely a lot of good things. Yeah, no, I do agree with you, Farrell. Lucid to 1,000, that would I wouldn't say a few years, it would definitely take a lot, but $1,000 down the line is easily very attainable for Lucid. Yeah, it looks like so hold for 2 to 10 years. Yeah, no, honestly, when it comes to Lucid, and I think a lot of people are starting to realize when it comes to and comparing Lucid to Tesla. Tesla, obviously, if you would have tried to nickel and dime and tried to kind of buy and sell your way up, you would have easily lost $1,000,000%. You would have actually 100%. Like, it's so much more advantageous to actually just buy it and hold it when it comes to Lucid. And Tesla as well. Tesla, I think, is also riding up a lot because, like I said, they have a lot of big deals and agreements going in the works, and probably in the future as well. And especially Cathie Woods as well is definitely a big believer in Tesla and EVs. And I do feel that it is, I don't know, I think it's just a matter of time before Cathie Woods does start talking about Lucid. So, again, that's more speculation than I wanted to say, but yeah. Oh, Matthew. Oh, nice. Yeah, as far as, yeah, this is pretty good. It would be nice to get one of these. But hands down, when it comes to Lucid as well, one thing that, again, I always find as one of the biggest, strongest reasons to buy Lucid is their tech. 100%. Like, their like battery, when it comes to EVs, batteries is key, right? Like, as much as we like to look at the Lucids and how sexy the car actually looks, it's actual, like, the battery. The battery is one of the biggest selling points in like for Lucid, 100%. So good transition period. If you guys haven't already, smash the thumbs up, subscribe. I greatly appreciate you guys doing all of that. It helps my channel out a lot. Yeah, I kind of agree with 𝗪𝗧𝗛. Yeah, Lucid is, it is unpredictable, but so far, based on the trends that we do have, this is why I like it, because there's nothing really, they haven't really led us wrong, right? They have very high expectations, nothing wrong with that whatsoever. Just, yeah, there's some things that could go wrong, and 100 guaranteed some people are going to overplay it and say that they called it. I knew Lucid was going to do this. I knew they were going to fail. Like, there's bound to be something in their future that doesn't go as planned, right? Like, very little companies actually undergo that, right? Like, nothing's perfect. And so even when it comes to short interest as well, I do anticipate probably it increasing maybe a little bit, especially going into their actual earnings. But overall, like, if I compare like Lucid to like Tesla, for instance, a good company, you want to have around about 4% for short interest. And right now, Lucid is 3.6. 4% is still not much by any means. And even you can see on Tesla, it did decrease 6.8% on a day-by-day change. So, like, in comparison to what the actual price is, maybe just people learned their lesson with Tesla. But the difference is, when it comes to Lucid, there is a lot of gray area, and I'm sure you, even in the comments, you can kind of tell there is a lot of naysayers and kind of skeptics about Lucid, and obviously that's rightfully so, right? I am a pretty big bullish fan on Lucid, and I'm thinking very long term. That's why I bought a lot of calls. I've been selling a lot of puts, owned some shares. Definitely all around big Lucid fan. And I do feel that it's going to be a very strong, big component in a lot of individuals' portfolios as well. Oh, easily. Yeah. 𝗪𝗧𝗛, I completely agree. Lucid definitely over Rivian, 100%. Yeah. Yeah, Lucid will be very profitable. It just needs to work out a few kinks, get their things down. And again, it goes back to the point where I do feel, as much as, so actually, I guess I haven't seen any comments about that. So what do you guys think? I did a video. Everyone seemed to be very favorable of it, but would you be think about selling Lucid shares if they said that, you know what, we are thinking about diluting our outstanding shares by, let's say, 10, 15% or whatever it is, but we can increase our capacity by 750,000. What would you guys say to that? Would you guys think about selling? And keep in mind, I'm going to pull this up again in case you weren't here for that. As of right now, they have a capacity of 90,000 vehicles. So that's where Lucid is currently sitting at. So right now, 90,000 vehicles. Definitely, we already know that, and especially I believe is part of their what terms and conditions, what they do have to do is build a facility out in Saudi Arabia by 2024, or give or take. So that one would hypothetically cost $3 billion. And based on what Lucid has, so I'll just pull up this. Okay, so Lucid, just for those that don't know, obviously this is largely based on their last info that they do have. They have 1 million in that hasn't been spent in cash equivalents and short-term investments, whereas debt 1.2. So again, this is why, keep in mind why I keep saying right now $43 is the share price, but in reality it can be so much more, because even looking at this is fairly, like, their book value, there's going to be a lot of negatives, right? Earnings per share is going to be negative. Revenue is going to be negative. So there's a lot of different components, especially coming from their earnings, that won't be good per se. Yeah, Rivian will definitely be good as well. Nothing wrong with Rivian as well. In reality, I think EVs are going to be fairly successful. So whether you invest in Rivian, Tesla, Lucid, NIO, whatever floats your boat, there's going to be a lot out there. Just they all are going to be fighting for market share, right? And Lucid initially was seen as a niche market that Tesla wasn't really in. It's a high value vehicle. But now that they're talking about a $25,000 vehicle, like I already mentioned right here, so $25,000 vehicle, now they are directly going to be competing with Tesla and a lot of other vehicles. And who knows? It's obviously Tesla is getting into the truck component of that. Lucid could definitely do that, right? And I'm for that. I'm for whatever you can make money on. It's just right now, especially over the next couple of years, it's going to be a lot of battling for their market share. And Lucid, like I said, has a good battery, has good technology. That's something you can't replace. Even if a company has so much more cash and everything on that, and like they won't be able to replace or do that, because they can do unlimited R&D and try and find the best battery, like obviously Tesla did, and nothing really amounts to it, right? It's just gonna be wasted money on R&D, when in reality Lucid has a very good product already. Not saying Lucid can't innovate and improve, which I'm sure they will in the future, but as of right now, they definitely are going to be, they have good stuff. Yeah, I agree with that. The Gravity is going to be a pretty big seller. Yeah, Char. To be honest, I was thinking the exact same thing. Gas prices are going up. I'm just getting so annoyed. I have a Camry right now, and yeah, literally, I feel like pulling the trigger and just, you know what, time to switch to EV. And I do feel there's going to be a lot of individuals similar like me that I do feel that is built into a lot of these prices is a huge future expectation as well, right? Especially like I live in Canada as well, and they're thinking about adding in extra tax onto oil, even on the stuff that we already have. So it's kind of funny. In Alberta, we make the oil, ship it down to the States, to Texas, and they pretty much give it back to us refined, and we pay more. And then not only that, but another tax on that. So again, it just shows how messed up that whole situation is. A lot of people are going to be switching to EVs, 100%. And why not, right? Like majority, whether you're doing, it's a renewable resource, right? There's whether you do wind or whatever it is, it's better. A lot of governments are adding a lot of good taxes, like tax incentives. So especially, like I've already done a lot of videos on that, so I don't really want to mention it overly too much. It's not really something that's going to be addressed in their earnings, at least, but their the infrastructure bill. So the infrastructure bill as of right now, so Lucid still does get the $7,500 rebate. It got switched from a rebate to a credit. And now, hypothetically, I do anticipate, I was reading somewhere over the next 60 days, hopefully they will increase it from $7,500 to $12,500. So that in itself will cause Lucid to skyrocket. And another positive to take from their upcoming earnings is that their market profit margins and things like that. We're going to find out exactly what they are. And when it comes to like Tesla, when it came to Tesla, the only reason why they succeeded as much as they did is because at the time of the grants, when they had their incentives and the rebates through the government. That is one of the biggest things, because for those that were in Tesla, you know that when the government was hypothetically starting to take it away or talking about taking it away, Tesla dropped, I believe, is around 20%, 15 to 20%, something like that. And when they're increasing it to 12,500, Lucid will do so much. Like And if you have stuck with me throughout this whole live video, I've brought up a lot of good catalysts, and every one of which is a massive reason to buy in. Yeah, Farrell, yeah, 12,500, yeah, hands down. Yeah, the stock market being held back. Yeah, a lot of good things. Yeah, no, when it comes to Lucid, hands down, it's a lot of positives. To be honest, yeah, that's a lot of things I have would like to say as far as the video. I appreciate you guys all smashing the thumbs up. If you guys haven't already, subscribe. I greatly appreciate that. It definitely helps me do better videos, push it out. Leave a lot of comments as well. Definitely show your love for Lucid. There is, but yeah, with that said, I'll see if there's any final comments. Okay, so it looks like all the comments need, looks like for the 12,500, all components need to be manufactured in the USA. I didn't read that, but that would be obviously one component of that. I would agree, right? Because obviously it's an infrastructure build for the States. Oh, you want an earnings stream tomorrow? Yeah, I could do that. I could definitely see what aftermarket hours do that. In reality, how I'm going to play it, I do see that there's going to be a dip, so I'm not going to commit to anything most likely tomorrow. And in reality, I did find the volume on Friday to be a little bit weird. Obviously you can see 41 million shares being traded on Friday, whereas the average was 49. So in that regard, it definitely was kind of abnormal, right? We're used to now the 80, 100 and things like that. So I think that there was a lot of fear kind of getting in here. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit. So based on the momentum indicator as well, you can see a little bit of a dip did happen. So a number of buyers actually did kind of start to at least exit out of Lucid or kind of go down. So there's a lot of things at play. Technicals, in my opinion, are fairly good, and I did touch on this already, but in case you weren't, resistance and support levels both very tight knit. So it will be a very power struggle, most likely Monday. So Monday, I do anticipate most likely a pretty stagnant day, especially anticipating going into the earnings. So it should bounce between most likely the 42 to 45 range, unless there's obviously external circumstances, or maybe they actually, despite this, only saying about or looking like 5 to 12 video or cars, if they say that this was 100, then that would definitely, in my opinion, cause a nice little surge. But we will probably be in this range for Monday until, again, ding ding ding, the fun old earnings. So yeah, a lot playing on Lucid. Okay, Jay, I appreciate that, as long as you come back. Thanks, Farrell. Appreciate that. When do I think self-driving will be unlocked for Lucid? Well, definitely Lucid has the tech to, well, they're working on it. Most likely, I don't know. I think they were giving estimates 2023, right? I do most likely feel that probably. GGPI, yeah, I can take a look at that. Yeah. Earnings, I think it's hands down. I don't think the actual numbers, it's just the guidance. So the actual numbers, when they do issue that, I don't think people will care. I think it's going to be the conference call when they actually provide info on their guidance. That is what I'm going to be tuning in for. That's what I'm going to be focusing on. Earnings is it's okay. I don't really care to see that they lost maybe 25 cents equivalently per share of for revenue, 22% or 20. What did it say? The forecast for Lucid for earnings negative about 22 cents. So anywhere from 22 to 25 cents, I think won't play that big of a picture in the grand scheme of things. But with all this said, though, I appreciate you guys all watching. Like I said, smash the thumbs up, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. I have a good Discord. Definitely join that in the link in the description below. A lot of good individuals, good chats as well. So definitely take a look at that, join that. But with all this said, though, I appreciate you guys watching and tuning in, and let's stay tuned.